Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the No Signal podcast. With me, we have LionMusashi, Mr. giving me $20 himself on 2DX. Definitely didn't do this one before, like a year and a half ago, and I lost the audio, but how are we doing today, sir?
Not too bad, sir. Not too bad. Can't complain.
Good.
Talk to you again. I feel like it's been a bit of time.
Oh, yeah.
Not quite.
Yeah, so, I mean, we kind of have the positive with that,
Yeah.
but it is definitely long overdue here. Give me for not being prepared here. We got to get the podcast questions back.
All is well. We're vibing tonight. I am settling with the job and everything. 12 plus years.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Good.
All right, what have you been up to lately? What you been playing?
No, that's a good question. I feel like the topic of the it's favorite series. Very first game in the Mega Saturn. No, it's still good to see. I love that 5 is making the rounds again. It feels third or fourth time now.
Oh yeah.
But in this day and age with actual netcode, possible player base, because you've got a little bit of a deficit realm after Tekken right now.
Oh yeah.
I think it's got some promise now. We get in the 6th game. Feels good. So I'm picking it back up. It's been a lot of fun. I love seeing that we're kind of building a team for.
I mean, when you have one of the best players in the United States, or the best player in the United States that
the
comes to
best
your
player in the
local, that
United
definitely
States.
helps with
Yeah,
your scene.
that's no joke. I feel like we're a little bit blessed in that regard.
Yep.
Not just VF. We have obviously several best players in their respective games in the United States that just happen to play. Pretty wild. But yeah, it's been that and odds and ends, retro games,
Yep.
Caliber, VC.
Running the Fightcade grind
Yes,
with Meshi
sir. Yes,
on
sir.
the days off or and the nighttime. You know how it is.
That's our boy now. Like,
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely one of those things that we want to talk about before. More time here. It's been almost half now.
Yeah.
On. We've had some generations, younger generations. Some of these kind of grow together, which has been Meshi, our young gun.
Oh yeah, the next generation.
Quickly becoming a star in. Oh, love to see it, man.
Got podium and Caliber. He's got he got his plasma sword win here.
He is going to be the best plasma sword Arda to start with, and after that,
definitely at least the southern United States.
absolutely,
Like,
100%.
That man is a demon. I cannot wait for a
already
collection to drop.
Yeah.
But I told him when we start, I gotta get him ready to go so we can give him competition on the way up.
Oh yeah. The retro collection. I really appreciate Capcom getting back in this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Fighting Collection 2. Games ever on. I am a massive project. I'm very excited for Capcom. Plays very quick. Just how broken that game is.
Yeah, that game is busted. If you play more than one top tier in your team, you are gonna have a very bad time if you're playing against that.
Yeah. There's a reason. Got Blanca, Bison.
Yeah.
Very notorious. A number of other characters, but that is a heck of a game. Fun to see it.
Yeah, and that may be coming up in the next. We'll see. We're putting together a new calendar, trying to find more stuff to put on Street Fighter.
It's very exciting.
Our Marvel scene not doing great.
It's funny you say that because I feel like part of the reason the Marvel scene is because same thing is people realize that it's a busted game at its core.
Yeah.
And either you're with it or you're not with it.
We've tried to do ratio and non-ratio, but it's still the same. It's some 40-year-old is gonna knowledge check you, and you're not gonna be able to keep up if you're a new player.
Yeah, absolutely. It's me as the first gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And then
it's like you, Sean and Jet.
Yeah.
And then
for Marvel it's Tom at the top too. Never mind. I take that back. It's always
it's
always been.
Yeah. But that is.
It is fun. I think rotating the game out is really. It's done a lot of good to get some different is some different going.
Oh yeah.
You know, you get people back, they learn something else.
Yep.
You know, you got people playing Tekken, and then they'll go from Tekken and Caliber. That's interesting.
We have had a lot of crossover with the VF5 coming into light. A lot of the Tekken players have been labbing VF, so it's happy to see. I like to see that crossover.
It's really cool. Like VF, I've talked a little bit with Cody, I think, about it, and I maybe VF seems kind of bridging a gap between better and Tekken community.
Yeah,
we've had some 2D gamers. 2D gamers did a lot better at it than I expected. For the record, they picked it up quite well, but I have a feeling they're hidden killers in this game, and they played.
Oh yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Yeah, when I saw Simple Tricks, I was like, yeah, you may be an SF6 player, but you've dabbled. Dabbled.
He's got the pedigree though.
Oh yeah,
both literally and figuratively.
All right, so the main point of the podcast, as I'm sure you're aware, is to bring back the gaming and arcade memories from back in the day. So where did it all start for you? What was like your spark that was like, yeah, this is the scene I want to be in now?
So that's a long winding trek. I've been a gamer since I was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old. Then 30 plus years now. That's it started for me arcade. It started with Street. Honestly, it in random arcades and laundromats and the most odd places, and you come across
it was back in the day.
Yeah, and this is cool. Not at all like anything else. For me, I was 6 when Street Fighter 2 came, and I had a Super Nintendo at that point anyway, so I was already gaming at that age. And I'm very grateful, supportive mother who always appreciated my hobbies. Like from way back then till now, she's like, "You're not getting into trouble, son. Not getting anything bad. I just want you to enjoy."
Heck yeah.
And like, it's always good. Never pressured to get outside and do things. You should do this, play football with your friends. Like, none of that. It was always good.
Doing something safe and not getting into trouble, so that's all that matters.
Exactly. So for me, it would start there, and I'll try to keep it a little. I had an arcade island where I was born up for the 11, 12 years of life. All arcade, as they
as
typically
they always are. Yes.
Little arcade in Lincoln, Rhode Island. Pocket. Towns there. Providence. They called the Dream Machine. And this arcade had, at the time, and it had the big thing that caught attention was it had this huge sit-down cabinet. It was the first thing when you walked in. F1.
Okay.
Yes, legit. Big sit-down cabinet had the two set up side by side, and the screen was just like. For its time,
I forget. I think
it was huge.
I can't remember what those cabinets are called, but I know what you're talking about. In Jet's podcast, he was saying that MVC2 was set up on it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Like we had an MVC. It didn't have the sit down, but it did have like the big almost projecting kind of screen. The cab setup was separated. Those are fun. That caught my eye, and I want to play this. This is cool. So I went in, I played, I got my butt kicked by everybody. And I was like, you know what? That's okay. I had fun. And I kept coming back. I kept wanting to play. And I remember, so they had that. They had Spider 2. They had MK2. They had all the things you would want at the time. And I remember when Spider 2 came out, and they put it on one of those. It was mind-blowing. For the time, it was incredible.
Jesus.
How fluid it was, how good it looked in play and handing. It was mind-blowing at the time. For me, I'm like 8, so I'm just like 8 or 9 or something. Yeah, I'm like, so that was my addiction, and I wanted a Sega Saturn to play it. I wanted everything. I was always again a Nintendo guy, but over to Sega, I was like, I need to play the game, and I got into a whole bunch of other games thanks to it. I also realized that Sega was not good at keeping their consoles alive for very long.
No. You probably had about a 4-year lifespan at most for a lot of those.
I love my Saturn, but a lot of great games on it. A lot of bangers. But that place, that was my real foray into arcades. Like at the time, I wasn't lucky enough to really get any good friendships or relationships out of it. I always had fun, and I was always finding new things. So that was a part of it. I would say that's where it started.
Yeah. Then how did it morph into like your like teenage young adult life there?
Yeah. So it started with fighting games. And I moved away from Rhode Island. I'm down to Florida. Kind of the same thing. I would arcades, places, had a mall nearby that had an arcade that had Marvel superheroes versus better, I think it was at the time, and that became my thing I was hooked on. But other than that, it was kind of whatever here and there. As far as the time that I had there. So
yeah.
Down to Bradenton, so Bradenton, Sarasota area, a little bit south of Tampa for people, and going to high school there. And when I want to say it was junior year, I found an arcade that was in Bradenton at the DeSoto Square Mall, which is a really terrible crap hole now, if it's even still alive. But it was cool for its time. It was a hangout place. There were a lot of people my age there, and had fun. And I started playing DDR, and that was where my arcade gaming took me. And Dance Dance Revolution is actually the game that made me cultivate a lot of friendships. So he had a fairly decent-sized community. The arcade had just gotten DDR 4th Mix Plus because they had to pump it up before then. And few people were unhappy that it got changed out. One of whom you know and are very familiar with here.
Probably.
Yeah. So I don't know if he appears in this Soul Calibur video, but he's a good buddy of mine.
Oh, okay.
And,
now I know for sure.
He was not thrilled. He's never been a big DDR guy. But for me, I had played DDR a little bit back in Kissimmee, Orlando, because I had gone to Disney Quest a handful of times, and they had DDR US First Mix, which was a terrible mix. It had 8 songs.
Yep.
But I played it, and it was for me, it was different, and it was not something that I really wanted to do. Prior, I would have never thought about doing it because I was always really introverted. The fighting games were the only thing that got me out of my shell before, when I went to arcades. Otherwise, I was very, very internalized. In school, I didn't talk to anybody. Just quiet, just didn't want to deal. And playing DDR got me hooked on music games. It got me hooked on kind of being extroverted, and I'd say the biggest thing, that arcade happened to meet my future wife. So she worked there. She was an employee at the arcade at Fun and Games at DeSoto Square Mall. And I would be in 3-4 times a week to play DDR. I was in all the time. I was actually in good shape then. I had stamina. I was young and healthy and not broken. Yeah.
You're still a beautiful man to me, Charles.
You're too kind. I appreciate that. I don't feel it sometimes. Just the age, the years build up. But yeah, my lovely wife Amy, who I've known since 2003 or 4 at this point. We've been together for 20 years. Been married for less than half that, but we hit it off then, and it was I will forever be grateful for those experiences, for introducing me to some of my best friends and to my best friend.
I love to hear that. That's so wholesome.
I appreciate that, and I know I'm also really lucky because having a wife who shares my hobbies.
Oh yes, it's very nice.
Is
helps
crazy
a lot.
And it's insanely just special.
Yeah.
I know one of our regulars here, Beav, is graced with the same lucky blessing. I know
super supportive of everything he does.
They're just awesome people. So, shout out to them.
Yeah. Loop it back around here to as we have on screen here, Soul Calibur 2. You're a huge player in our Soul Calibur 2 scene here at Neon Dreams.
So this, I think this is a good segue. So those are really the first 2 arcades that were a big impact in my life. This one, I would say, is now number 3. Obviously, it's been a whole bunch of years, but what Neon has become that I like to spend. the environment, the communities, the people, like just everything that's been cultivated here from you and Dallas and Cody and all the amazing people who share all these things. It's just phenomenal, and I feel like you have a really, really special thing. Obviously, we had a huge tournament last Saturday for Street Fighter 6 and Vampire Savior, which I know has been making the rounds because one of our amazing community members, Boone, took hundreds
Phenomenal
of
photos,
and they are immaculate. They are so amazing. So if you get a chance, go follow him at Old Boone on Instagram and check those out because they are just phenomenal.
Check out the podcast episode I've done on Old Boone
there you go.
as well.
That's right. He is an OG. He's one of my favorite people. And just I guess looping back, like all of the people here and all of the community. Coming to Neon got me back into Soul Calibur because I had dropped it for a long time. I was active in 4. 4 was the last time I had entered a tournament for it. Didn't go so hot. It was okay. It was
I'm sorry.
It was at CEO 2011. I entered the bracket. I won my first match, which was good. My second match was against one of the Atlanta crew, one of Pokechop's friends at the time, one of his crew. And I had never been in that kind of situation before. They played my own character against me. They played Setsuka.
Ooh.
And I was like, I don't know what's
Setsuka.
going on.
Ooh.
And every time I got hit by something, there was noise behind me. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. So I got blasted. And then in Losers, I got knocked out by a guy a lot of people actually may know named Ace Unlimited, who is a longtime community member for Tekken, Calibur, everything. I don't know how he ended up in Losers, or at least he did, but that was not good either. But I had fun. Like, it was different, but Calibur 4 is not a good game. I played 5 and 6 casually.
People will hate on 5, but I still say that 5 you can play a lot more competitive than 4.
5 gameplay-wise is a good game.
Yeah.
Like, I played 5 like for a decent amount of time, and it was actually good to play.
If you can just cover up some names and you just pretend in your head that you have Setsuka and you have...
Yeah, I had to play Alpha Patroclus, and I'm just like, okay, well, you know, he does the same cool stuff.
Custom characters exist for a reason, you know?
That's right. That's right. No, gameplay-wise, 5 is good. Introducing meter is weird, and I still don't know how I feel about meter in Calibur.
It was as unobtrusive as it could have been in 5.
I think so. 6 obviously kind of refined it. 6 made some pretty cool changes, and then 6 made some questionable changes.
There's a lot of hits, a lot of misses with 6.
Reversal edge is obviously the big thing that
it's not,
people talk about. That's not
I will say
super good.
it's not as bad anymore. I am a 100% reversal edge hater. I've said it on here before, but really going back and playing it now, it is not as ignorant as it once was.
It's not. It's still a weird mechanic to have in a game like that, but I agree with you. It's not quite as bad as it was.
A game that was centered around just the moveset already being rock, paper, scissors, and then adding another layer of rock, paper, scissors onto my rock, paper, scissors was...
Yeah, it's certainly a choice. So, you know, we kind of fell out of it. Like, there was no real community. 6's netcode, like all the rest of it's bad. So no one played it. And then, you know, came back here. And for me, when I came here, I saw you guys had a Calibur 2 machine. And I think it was like the second time I was here. It was you and Dallas playing, I believe.
Probably. It was either me and Dallas or Ian Boone or me and Jed or something.
And I was like, oh, I play Calibur, and Dallas was like, Dallas had met me previously, and he was like, yeah, like the first time I was in, he was like, yeah, you want to get some games in? And I started playing, and it was just like, oh, this is the game that I loved.
Yep.
This is the game that's great, and everyone should play. And then, you know, met you, and then realized we have a community for it here.
Yeah, decent sized community for it of like 12 plus almost every tournament.
Yeah, we honestly, the amount of players we have is probably 25-ish. A lot of them are more inconsistent, of course. We have some that are every single time we run it, they'll come out. So
Jet has only missed 1.
Yeah. Yeah, Jet's missed 1. I think Yagami has missed 1, 2
I think
maybe.
He's missed 2.
I've missed 2, I want to say, and I think you've been here for all of them.
Yeah, well, I worked.
Of course. But you didn't at first, I don't think.
For the first
one, you didn't.
The first 2, I didn't work here.
Oh, okay. Okay, see. My dates are all
the second
up.
one I called out of work to show up for.
There you go. And then since then you haven't had to.
Then I
you
have
work
not had
and
to.
enter the tournament.
Yep.
And it's just been awesome. Like it's reminded me that, you know, enjoying games like this with the community is just the best way to play things like this, to be involved with things like this. And it's connected me with people that I knew of and never really got the chance to meet back when this was a big community. It's reconnected me with people I knew a long time ago that I hadn't seen in years. And
that's one of my favorite things is just like seeing that. Even the Discord yesterday, like Jet realizing that it was like, oh, I know him from Tampa Lanes back in the day.
That's exactly it. I think it was the picture of Alan, right? And like that whole early 2000s Tampa crew were just like,
that's on me.
We're just like, they had a special thing. They played a bunch of versus games. They played a bunch of X-Men versus Street Fighter, and everything else they had there. Like I knew of those people, but I didn't ever really interact with them. I was secluded down in Bradenton, and then after that, I went up to school in Tampa, and I never really had the chance to go out to the communities. So for me, I knew of these people, but I never got to meet them. And then people like Guava Otter, Tom, who is the one I mentioned, who does not like DDR, and I totally understand where he's coming from now. I didn't get it then. Now I get it. I'm sorry. I'll own that one. Like I hadn't connected with him, and you know, meeting back here again with him, it had been long, and just rekindle those relationships. Like it's just super cool, and I think for a lot of people, it's given us a chance to kind of rekindle some of those younger years. Where the vibes are just immense. We're all having a good time. We're all enjoying these games that we love, just sharing the feeling. And it's really special. I feel like a broken record, but like it is something special.
Especially for those like smaller tournaments. Aside from like mains on Saturday, like it is like, we may get butthurt, we may get flustered, but at the end of the day, it's like we're all friends here.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It's real cool to see like. Actually, last Saturday is a good example. We had a crew from Orlando, the Retro Revival crew. Great people, great community. But they came out. Several of them came out to play Vampire Saber with us here, and like we had our little like Tampa versus Orlando thing going on. Shout out to HG again, who secured the home advantage there and won for Tampa. But like at the end of the day, we're all loving this. Super old game.
We're like, wow, we're still sitting here playing this.
Yeah,
like,
still has a community. We got 12 people for it. Like for again, this is a 1997 release game. And they're awesome people. And and just everybody just wants to play and have a good time. And we're still learning things about the game. You know, even now, being able to do things like that is really cool. And I think that's one of the things I really appreciate. Like a lot of places just run Street Fighter, Tekken. And then the occasional Guilty Gear, Smash is its own thing, of course. I feel like the places that do Smash don't do anything else typically. There's a kind of a weird separation. And that's neither here nor there. So knowing that you guys are always going to have things run, things you're willing to try, like
we love the retro titles.
Yeah,
here, like,
exactly. It's very cool. Like, see how many people will show up for Plasma Sword.
If it doesn't turn out, we don't do it again.
Yeah. You live and you learn, and then you move on to something else. So
that's that's the heart of the mystery fighting game tournament too. We always try to bring some obscure nonsense to the forefront and force these modern fighting game players to adapt.
There have been some real crazy choices over the months. Special shout out to Lethal League Blaze. That's a banger. I'm not good at that game, but. I think it was last month you ran WWF SmackDown, which was hilarious. You've run Backyard Wrestling and Rumble Roses on the same month, I believe. Yeah,
we did we did Backyard Wrestling, DOA 2, and then Rumble Roses.
Okay,
was
I
like
think
the too hot for Twitch.
I think that one was a classic. That was amazing.
Jesse just mopping people in Rumble Roses.
Right.
He's like, I don't play this game, but I play every other wrestling game.
He knows wrestling games, and boy, he sure did. It's like, oh, you're actually amazing at this.
Yeah.
But, it's just all sorts of fun stuff. Have you guys run Def Jam yet?
We did on the very first mystery fighting game.
Okay.
I want to run it again now that we kind of got like a big audience for it. But
that's obviously a big one. I'm always going to keep run Naruto as well because I am a massive TNT fan. I get it. GameCube is a little weird to run things on.
It's not even that. It's just for the most of those we do PS2 and like we already have the PS2 hooked up.
Do GameCube night.
True.
There's actually quite a few cool things you could run.
True.
So.
Just saying. Could do Link only Caliber 2.
Just saying. I'll give you a few things. Link only caliber 2 sounds really deranged, and I think you should do it.
That sounds like just Smash with no platform, and the how that character works.
Yes, that was perfect timing actually. I just saw Astaroth ring someone out from half screen.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, that's just Link.
And that's just Link. Yeah, there you go.
You got bomb into bow combo.
Right, half screen ring outs. It's great. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, and that's the thing. Always looking forward.
What else we got here on the agenda?
Anything else? I feel like I'm not the most talkative, but you get me talking, I can talk for hours. Like that's always how it goes.
What have your favorite moments been Neon so far?
Oh, that is a fantastic question. That's hard to. Let me think about it.
I'll split it in half first.
Yeah.
So let's do your favorite like community moment, and then let's hear your favorite like tournament.
Okay. Honestly, the favorite community moment might have just been last Saturday.
Yeah.
Just seeing this place so full and so alive, and just like everyone hyped up
I'd say the last time that I've seen it like that was probably our first Smash tournament. The first one we did on a Thursday. It was like that was entirely new faces. Arcade had just opened up, and we didn't have like Smash players in the arcade. It was just like, oh, just a bunch of random people in here, all here to have a good time and play a game and have fun. Absolutely,
and that's the kind of like that feeling is unique, and it really provides like this kind of aura when you're here. It's very hard to explain, but you just have to be there.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the feeling on Saturday. Seeing, I think it was nearly 40 people here for Street Fighter, on top of the crew for Vampire Savior, on top of the rhythm game crew that we usually have here. And it was just like electric. Like just if Miami and Orlando and Tampa all come together and fighting, and just so much excitement and things like that, I think are just awesome to me. And when you see the entirety of the communities come together just to celebrate in person, for me is really the Soul Calibur 2 first year anniversary tournament was a lot of fun for similar reasons. Obviously, we were missing a couple people, but it was pretty lively.
Yeah.
And I know there was a lot of fun shenanigans with the trophies, with the side tournaments. And just everyone just having a good time and celebrating the game we love.
Huge shout out to Frank and Jet for helping with a bunch of those.
Yeah.
Shout out to Frank for winning it all.
Right. We'll get him one day.
Yeah.
I say that, but I don't know if that'll happen. He's been doing this for way too long.
Doesn't play Ivy. I have.
Right.
If he doesn't play Ivy,
it's the same
first round.
It's the same way I feel about Sean. I'm like, if I don't play Raphael, I'm okay. Every time I see you, it's Raphael and Bracken. I'm like, figure it out. Can't put it together. No. One day. Do it one day. Unless I keep playing VF and forget how to play Soul Calibur. Which has been an issue lately.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Yeah. A little too hard to.
I like how both you and me, we've like kind of always been sparring partners in Soul Calibur 2 since we've been playing here, and we just constantly see this skill growth. Like where I was when we started versus where I am now is like vastly different.
It's two completely different players. I'm like very honest. Like we were talking about it a bit last time I was here. But you've been working on the Necrit particularly, which a lot of people think is just a joke. Like, and at one point, it was like, he's funny. He does flames. He's a funny man. Now it's legitimately scary.
Yeah.
And,
now it's
like,
you have almost full screen setups.
Yeah.
My bad.
And we're in the point in the cycle now where I'm having issues with Rugi.
Yeah.
Like, which is, I feel like a couple months back we were in the point in the cycle where you were having issues with my cast.
I was.
And like it's just flipped like completely on its head now. And it feels like cyclical. A lot of it goes like that with us. But like
and we've always been like fairly close.
Yeah.
Most of the
absolutely.
Time. Like it'll be like you get 3, I get 1, and now it's like the opposite now.
Yep. Yeah. So I will say it makes me immensely happy, legitimately, that you knocked me out of tournament last time I was able to enter. Like, because I know that's.
I will say I do apologize for Papa.
Do not apologize.
That was like a year of you like us playing close every other time, and then you just stomping me in bracket when we got there.
Yeah, absolutely. We play casuals and we'll go 15-14, and then bracket is just like a 6-0. And it's like what happened? Like bracket nerfs or whatever happened. Like So no, do not apologize for that, because that's part of the tournament vibes that people who don't come out to locals won't understand.
And even Cody, like back from the commentary booth, like after I did that, he looked at me and he's like, "You earned that."
You did earn that, absolutely. And I think I told him that as well. Like, absolutely earned that. And those moments are what makes these things. Like,
and then it was like, just back to back. Sorry to self-glaze here,
no.
but like back to back, like beating bracket demons, because I beat in that tournament I beat Meshi, and then I beat you, and then the one after that I beat Head and Clouds.
You did.
So like
Scope is back to being your bracket demon now. Though, apparently. So
he is.
Funny enough,
I didn't play him last time though.
No, oh that's right, you didn't. Yeah, okay.
I lost to Boone twice.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, okay. That's right, because he actually made it to semis. He played Frankie, and then he lost to Frankie.
Then he lost to Frankie.
Yeah, okay. Yep, you're right. So, that tournament was really funny because you mentioned Bracket Demon. I beat one of my Bracket Demons. That was my only win. That tournament was against Jet, who I've never beaten in Bracket, ever. We've played like 5 or 6 times, and never. And I 2-0'd him that one day, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to accept this. This is fine. No matter what happens from here, we're good.
Was that on stick or on pad?
It was on pad. It was playing Berserker on pad. Yes. That's best left there. Nothing else. That to me, though, that tournament especially shows like how we're growing as a community.
Oh yeah.
Like
that we can now like actually go and challenge like our podium.
You had a very clear hierarchy at one point. It was like unchallengeable. Everybody was where they were.
Podium was always like Frankie, Jet, and then someone else.
Yep, absolutely. And we've had, people getting upsets. We've had more people come into the community who have gone from being, one-hit wonders to like, you're actually ridiculously good. And like freaking Brian, of all people, started playing Caliber. Was like, I kind of play this game. And now he's like top 3 every time he plays. And it's like, yep. That's just how he is, man.
That's just fundamentals for him, though. Like, man's a demon.
That's true. There's several of us, I feel like, in the Caliber community who play way too many games. And for some of us, it's a good thing. For some of us, it's a bad thing. But I think that's part of what makes this community just having those memories and growing together.
Then we'll completely divert from that. What's one of your favorite games from like the PS2, GameCube, original Xbox era that like may not be super well known or like probably deserve a little more attention than it has? Enjoy.
There are a couple that I will give to, because I think that they are worth talking about. One of them is the game that we actually played our first attempt at recording this, which is Sega Saturn game, actually, that got re-released on the Xbox 360 called Guardian Heroes. It's by Treasure. It's by the devs that did Gunstar Heroes and a couple of other things. It's a side-scrolling, multi-plane fighting kind of game, and it's just magnificent. It's like a beat-em-up, but it's got RPG elements, and it's got a 12-person arena mode, and it's awesome. And if you ever get the chance to play it, please do. So I will leave there, but that is number 1. Number 2, because I am a big RPG guy, I'm a big JRPG guy, and I will always love this game. And I hear rumor that we might be getting a remake of it. Skies of Arcadia.
I have heard.
I am a huge Skies of Arcadia fan. It's a game about sky pirates. It's long. It's
extremely cool.
Yeah, they're dope. It's long. It's highly involved. There are different system mechanics. You get to do airship battles, and all of it's just fun, and it's really cool. It's actually a Sega title, if I remember right. In an era when Sega was rebounding off of the Dreamcast dying. Was available on Dreamcast as well, but they're rebounding off the Dreamcast dying, and they ported some things to GameCube. That to me is like the hidden gem of that era, because it was an era dominated kind of by Final Fantasy X. And then Tales of Symphonia, I feel like, was the backup game for a lot of people. Yeah, and I like Tales of Symphonia. Like, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't hold up super well, to be honest. If you play it now,
a lot of the Tales games are kind of like that.
A lot of them are kind of.
They were really good when they first came out, and then you go back and you're like, it's a little rough to play.
Yeah, they're not all showing their age well in 2025.
Yeah.
I have a special place in my heart for Tales of Vesperia, which I do think still plays pretty well, but they're definitely not all they're cracked up to be. Last one I will give a shout out to, just because we're on the JRPG thing, Xenosaga Episode 3. I've always been a massive Xeno everything fan. Xenogears is one of my favorite games of all time.
Love that Meshi is obsessed with Xenogears right now.
And yeah, he and I have bonded over that too. Like, it's on the soundtrack a ton. I'm just like, that was me 20 years ago. I totally understand. 25 years ago.
We're not old. We're not old.
It's something like that. But yeah, like, I've always been a fan of that entire series. And Xenosaga Episode 3 is easily the best game of that trilogy, and really invalidates the other two games. You don't. It's also really expensive if you try to buy it now, though. So I would recommend, if you're gonna try to play it, just emulate it. I'll leave it at
Definitely get a backup from a reputable source.
Yeah,
legally.
exactly. It's like $200 minimum for like disc only, I think. Bad condition. Sure, there are more that I could go into that for an hour.
Yeah.
Or two. I'll leave it with those.
Retro gaming market is very rough.
Yeah, it sure
has been rough for the last COVID, probably.
Yeah, it's been definitely on and off since then. A lot of people got into it. They didn't have anything else to do.
Okay, and I'll ask you, because you're one of the only two rhythm gamers I've had on here. How's 2DX been for you here? What's the scene like, in your opinion? I know we don't have a huge one. But.
Yeah, I will say this. I love that I've gotten to finally meet a lot of the 2DX gamers that I knew about in the Florida community for so long, but never actually saw face to face. We're lucky because the cabinet here is great. Like, you guys keep everything up in tip-top shape as well.
The cab does not will it, but my God, we try.
Yeah.
I will say that.
They are not easy cabs to work with.
That has probably been the cabinet we have had the most maintenance on.
That
is our
doesn't
2DX
surprise
machine.
me.
She's an old lady, and she likes to be worked on very specifically.
And I know there are future issues coming.
Yeah.
It's going to be a time. The cab itself is awesome. The community is great. It makes me very happy to see up the game too. You know, it's a hard one because I feel like it's very appealing until you actually start playing it, and then it just beats the ground, and you're like, I don't want to play this.
Yep. That's where I'm like, I'll play some Sound Voltax. Is probably the closest I'll get to a keys-based rhythm game. But man, I've tried 2DX like 4 times, and I'm just like, oh, this is okay. And then like, I think the biggest thing for me is the like artifacting on the notes scrolling like messes my brain up so bad.
Yeah, it's something that only recently has gone away. Tabs being so it's much smoother now than it used to be, but it used to be worse than this. Even.
Yeah,
like that's the funniest thing. The games, like I remember back when each Game Land, RIP, had 8th style, 7th style, and like. That interface was terrible, and you just kind of had to deal with it. At least there are ways you can work around it now, and you can customize it so you can see it. I will say this, too. For anyone who's looking to pick up a button game, play Poppin' Music.
Yes. Yes.
I as a 2DX lifer, Poppin' Music.
Far more beginner-friendly. You get immediate back on good press, button hit, button feel good.
Button feel really good to press, and even when it destroys you, it doesn't make you feel bad about it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
The main problem I have with like Chuni right now is like you'll get like a 998 and then you'll still fail.
Yep.
Like, you don't have to tell me I failed. You can just like give me a pass with a lower score. Like
that game is nonsense as far as passing goes. I don't know the intricacies of Chuni much because I'm not a huge touch panel gamer, but like it's never been associated correct.
It's very much like it's very combo based. It's very combo and accuracy, but like with T.
Yeah.
To if you are not carrying this combo through like 70% of passing.
The old DDR way.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Don't miss that.
If I got anything else super important here before we wrap.
All good. Glad we've had this chance to.
I know I probably already know the answer to this, but what's your opinion on modern fighting games? Like what's the state do you think we're in right now?
I think So funny enough, I do think modern fighting games are in a better state than modern gaming is as a whole.
Yes, very true.
So
very true.
I will say that at least the devs are showing that they care about their players,
for once,
which
for
is
once
huge.
in their life for fighting games is very rare.
Yeah, because the industry as a whole right now is in an awful state, where devs are getting
Mass
for
layoffs.
everything.
It's always the devs' fault.
There was an article about one of the Marvel Rivals teams.
Yeah, I got laid off. Yeah,
it's
one
of the Western side teams. Yeah, and it's like your game is how well, and you're like, we can't pay you. Like,
I've been placing bets.
Backward to me.
I've been placing bets with some friends on how long Ubisoft is going to stay in business for right now, because they have just been like miss after miss.
Yeah.
So I think within the next 2 years that they might not.
I
much
think
longer
there's
or get bought out by Activision. Microsoft.
That's what I was gonna say. I think there's very serious get bought out by one of the We'll see. We'll see how that all goes, but I'm with you. So as far as modern fighting games, I may not be the the biggest fan, I guess, of any of the current. I think the most recent great fighting game that got released as a new title is KOF 15. I know you and I have talked about that a little bit, and out at KOF 15. That game is phenomenal. It is really, really good. It is daunting because you have to learn 3 characters to play it. And I think that drives a lot of people away. But that is the best modern fighting game because it doesn't have any BS, have any of the things that now about Tekken and better.
Shout out Renfield if there is if there is 2 people playing KOF, he is one of them. If there is 1 person playing KOF, he is one of them. If there is nobody playing KOF, then stop living.
F this coil. That is my boy Steve. Shout out to you. I appreciate my KOF long timer. We have a couple people here who do play, but it's more as a side game.
Yeah. And we may be considering next month for KOF.
We'll see.
We're trying to fill slots on SF6 nights. So
Okay.
Figure that'd be adjacent enough.
That could be pretty cool. See how it does. At least the game still got a little bit of a scene. My hope is that City of the Wolves. We're actually getting into the beta tomorrow.
Will you be here tomorrow?
Will I be here tomorrow? I wasn't. However,
there may be a chance that fighting games might be converted into a City of the Wolves bracket if
we'll see
we can
what goes
get
on.
it up and running.
We'll see what goes on. I might be able to make it work. I'm very excited for that. I played a good bit of Garo when it was out. It was the Street Fighter Third Strike parallel.
Yeah.
Really great, underrated game. Get enough coverage.
Absolutely.
And honestly, I really think the community or the scene in general needs another alternative right now, and I think it has a chance, pretty big in the scene. Other than that, I don't know. People should play VF. Everyone,
Big true.
Yeah, everyone's upset with Tekken because it's too offensive compared to Tekken 7, and I kind of get it. It's a little bit ignorant.
You got
Street Fighter 6 is
Heat Rush and Rage Art, and all of area to wall every 5 seconds.
Yeah. So I kind of get it. I get why people are doing it now with Street Fighter and Tekken. Guilty Gear is a mess. As a Guilty Gear fan, yeah, and my character is one of the privileged ones. The game is a mess.
Yeah. I finally get to play the game. Happy.
You do.
My character finally gets to play the fucking game.
Absolutely. Again, I've been a Gold Lewis lifer since day one. I shouldn't be complaining. The game is a mess. I can rob people all day, but
you don't feel good about it.
No, not at all. It's
You're
why
do
I get to
hit
do
you
that?
4 times.
4? I hit you 2 times. I have 80%. That ain't right.
Yeah.
I don't know. They wanted to make interactions, more plentiful and make the games take longer. So now you kill people in 2 hits instead of 1.
Yep.
I guess. I don't know. So, but Arxis gonna Arxis.
We'll see if they can clean up lobbies and game balance by next game.
Yeah. Doubtful, but yeah.
Excited to see how Venom's gonna do when he comes out, if he comes out.
Maybe. End of March now, I think we're looking at?
Supposedly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whenever he decides that it is time.
I feel like that's been one of the biggest issues in modern fighting games right now is that we have these season passes, and they've gone for being pretty rapid releases to now everything's just taking forever.
Yeah, everything takes 4 or 5 months to get new
Yeah.
character out, where it's no longer a season pass, it is your year pass.
Yep, and you're developing on AAA titles, AAA timelines, AAA budget, and it's like, all right.
We already know, like, especially on launch, all these season passes are just, like, this could have been in the full game, and you guys just sit.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm hoping the industry stops being so aggressive, but it's so hard to say.
Money's money.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
I think that might wrap it up.
Good timing. I just watched myself
get
ringed out.
Destroyed by Griffin. That man needs to come back.
He does. He does. I've been playing a bit more now, so like I'll feel a little bit better if I end up playing him again.
Another person who needs to come back.
Or Yuki.
Yeah. That was my old sparring partner before you.
Oh yeah.
Yuki. Yeah.
There you go.
Just that man.
Yeah, we got a few old
I used to play
guard who haven't come back in a while.
Used to play some absolutely random garbage with that man all the time.
Are you the two who had played Fate?
Yeah, we were playing Fate on the big TV right in front of everybody.
Oh,
yeah.
What a classic that is, man.
So,
all right, sir. This has been a blast.
yeah.
I'm super glad we got to do this again. I really appreciate you having me on.
I'm glad. I'll try to have this up tonight if YouTube allows, but
yeah, we'll see. In due time.
Yeah. Thanks for coming to the back LAN here and recording.
Absolutely. We're grooving tonight. It's
gonna get some games. Probably get a live stream going here in a second. Get some caliber burning, and then
I want some VF time, some caliber time, and we'll see where it goes. So.
All right, this has been No Signal Podcast. We'll see you all on the next one. Still alive. Hooray.